Full time, Man United 0, Bournemouth 3. Eric Ten Hag's army has been cooked by Bournemouth at Old Trafford in a result or in a game that no one saw us go this side. I've been shocked. I really get pissed every time I see us give away easy goals. Why shouldn't we, when you look at the goal Chelsea scored against us, they never needed to do a lot to score against us. Out of those three goals that I'm going to hate to go past Andre Onana, we never made it hard for them to score. We never made it hard for them to score. And that's the ugly bit of this game. And sometimes you really feel like, why are the people going at the manager? Because when you look at the first goal, why does Bruno Fernandes go in to play such a very, 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 very uncalled for pass? Why does he have to play it? That is the big question, because it was really uncalled for and it never mattered. It never mattered, and he really went ahead to do it. And when he did it, he costed the team of Man United. That is Bruno Fernandes for you. And for the second one, you look at it and you ask yourself, what exactly are we all about? On close to 3-4 occasions, we survived being skinned by the side of Bournemouth. They went ahead, obviously put in a shift, and they obviously left us down, and we never really looked like a team that could obviously come in through and really do the needful. So it's really very ugly for the club of Manchester United and how we've gone ahead, obviously concede those goals stupidly. It's really, 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 really very bad that the club of Man United is going ahead to get in easy goals. All those are gifts. All those are gifts, and you ask these players, why did you have to come to play football today? You would have gone ahead to the manager, please don't play me in. I'm not ready. I don't feel like I'm in the game. Their body language, especially the defenders, has been really off, and it really raises your question on why don't they tell the manager that they are not willing to obviously come in through and obviously play into the game of football. They lack that killer instinct, and obviously through lacking it, you go ahead and obviously find ourselves in a position of losing 3-0. It's a team of Man United that makes 2 steps forward and 5 steps backward. That is really the ugly bit of it. You cannot be a team like Man United, and what you build is what you unbuild. As you fold, something gets unfold. That is the ugly bit of this. And I never at any one time really saw us losing this game. I don't know if there is any one of you who obviously went ahead to saw us losing this game, but I never saw us obviously losing this game of football. But all in all, we've gone ahead to lose it stupid like that. All those are giveaways. Those goals are not supposed to be going past Man United. Bruno Fernandes plays a very stupid pass, plays a very, very stupid pass in the middle of the park. And after Scott McTominay doesn't meet it on time and it's stolen by the opponents, guess what Scott McTominay does? Scott McTominay goes ahead to obviously go down, and really Scott McTominay chooses to go down, and when he went down, guess what happens? He never went down, but he gave up possession and he never really tracked back, and he was just jogging on the field of play. Yet he had to obviously run into the box and obviously track that player, and then a cross is being brought in through. Luke Shaw looks at it. It goes past Luke Shaw like that. You understand? Then it goes past Harry Maguire, and then the ball is in between Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw. Then Solanke comes in through and taps it in. In just 3 minutes, we were 1 goal down. Ugly display by Man United. And you ask yourself, why do these players get all these huge salaries? What's the answer to them paying huge salaries? That is it. What's the answer? Because if you're a player and you know that you are earning huge, you're supposed to go on and put your body on the line, and you don't allow such stupid goals to go into the back of the net for the club that you really support and really play for. But the players have gone ahead to continue to really shame us, and we've gone ahead to obviously lose out on another game. That would have gone ahead to take us to how many points? It would have gone ahead to take us to 30 points and level with Man City, And it's really unacceptable. It's really unacceptable to lose to Bournemouth. In our club history, we've never gone ahead to lose to Bournemouth at Old Trafford. Never has it happened. Never has it happened. And guess what? We've gone ahead to lose by 3-0. So last season, we only went ahead to lose one game at Old Trafford. I hope most of you remember. That game was against a side called Brighton, the opener, or the first Premier League game for Erik ten Hag under Manchester United. We went ahead to lose by 2-1. Ever since then, we never went ahead to obviously lose any other game. Now, this season, we've seen Galatasaray smash it at... Sorry, I'm talking about the Premier League because the UEFA Europa League also lost to Real Sociedad. So, in the Premier League, we've seen Brighton smash us 3-0, 3-1. That was followed by a loss to Crystal Palace, 1-0. Now, it's followed with another loss to Bournemouth, 3-0. So, it's really ugly display. It's really, really, really ugly display. And the response of these players is really questioning. You know, you have to go ahead and really question the levels at which these players are really playing at. Because you cannot be playing for the club of Man United and don't really put in a shift and understand what you're supposed to do, especially when you are defending for the club of Manchester United. Because look at how Bournemouth were playing. Their entire side was defending huge in numbers. You know, they were defending huge in numbers. That has been evident in the field of play. All of you have been seeing it. This team has been defending in numbers. You know, they never gave a chance to any side, any player of Man United. They fought for every ball, second ball. But for us, all the 2 goals, all the 2 goals we're going to have to concede, the first 2 goals are through us not fighting for the second balls. You know, and we've gone ahead to lose possession loosely. You know, and I just want to let you know, these players, you know, especially Scott McTominay not making a run, he's failing to do his job. I've always gone ahead and really told you that I'll fault you at a point X. Now, Scott McTominay has not scored any goal. Tell me what you've gone ahead to see him do on the field of play. You know, sometimes you say Rokani has an agenda of a certain player. It's not an agenda. These are facts that are bitter, but most of you don't need to take them in. Scoring a pressure against Chelsea will not make Rokani satisfied of your quality on how you're supposed to be playing in that midfield. Now, look at how Amrabat is going to have to play very well in that midfield. You know, imagine him having a player playing next to him like a Jude Bellingham or a Douglas Luiz. Do you think we lose this game? We don't. We don't. Because you'll be having a player playing next to Amrabat who is going to help you when you're having the ball. Scott McTominay today put out close to 5 or 6 blind passes, and they resulted into us being attacked left, right, and center. And he couldn't track back. He loses the ball. He doesn't track back. This is when I tell you that Scott McTominay is not good enough and is not meant to be playing for the club of Manchester United. I know very many fans of Man United who come in through and really say, Rokani, Scott McTominay is really the real deal. He's not the real deal. He's not the real deal, and he's not supposed to be playing for the club of Manchester United. That is it. He's not supposed to be playing for this club, because if you're going to hate to see elite midfielders, you see what they do. Now, today, Arsenal is playing against Aston Villa, and the lineups are out. Every United fan, I would love you to go and watch this game of football. You understand? See how Kamara and Douglas Luiz are going to play in that double pivot, you know, of Aston Villa, and compare any of those 2 players to Scott McTominay. Even if it's Yuri Tielemans who is playing behind Oli Watkins, he's better than Scott McTominay. And goals will always mask you. Goals will always mask you. But he scored a brace against Chelsea. I told you there is nothing else he did on that field of play apart from those goals. Obviously, his job is not to score goals. His job is to come out and obviously create goals or to create chances for Anton Martial, Garnacho, and Anthony. That is it. But did he ever really give out a ball to any of our attacking forces? The answer is no. So I tell you, Scott McTominay is not good enough. He is not good enough, and he doesn't deserve to be at the club of Manchester United. That is it. He doesn't deserve to be here. And not until we really go to the orders of Erik ten Hag that we move on every player that he wants out, that's when you're going to see results. That's when we are going to see results as a club of Man United. But if it does not happen that way, we aren't going to see results at the club of Man United. We aren't. We are not. We are not going to see any results, because the manager doesn't have the players he wants. If Bournemouth can come in through and really shock you at the club of at our stadium, think about it. If it was a loss away from home, you would have gone ahead to say, all right, it's something great. Or it's something not to obviously blame out because they're going to hate to lose from home and they're going to hate to shock other teams at home. But we have been at Old Trafford. And we had really put out or painted a picture that these teams in the bottom half of the table have come up and really gotten beaten by Manchester United. Guess what? Another team in the bottom half of the table has come up and obviously beaten Manchester United at Old Trafford. They've gone ahead to beat us. So there are certain things you cannot obviously change. And this is where I go ahead and really blame Erik ten Hag. Today, I blame Erik ten Hag for one reason. And that reason is to keep Scott McTominay on the field of play when he was doing nothing. When he was doing totally nothing. Having gone ahead to put out all those blind passes, he kept him on the field of play. Trust me, if it was Amrabat doing that, he would have gone ahead to get him at half time. And all the game of football today dying is that we had a player on the field of play in the name of Scott McTominay who went ahead to obviously not show up because his quality couldn't obviously let him do the needful. Because what Bournemouth did was to do what we call an intensive press. You saw to it that they pressed us each and every time we started to build, each and every time we tried to build that ball from behind. You saw them pressing against us, not so. They pressed against us a lot. And then they really won most of those presses. But do you know why we lose our start of play or build up play from the back? It's because Amrabat will show up and will get that ball, and he's the only press-resistant player playing the double pivot. Scott McTominay always hides. When you're having the ball, Scott McTominay is nowhere to be seen. Tell me a scenario where you've gone ahead to see Scott McTominay play a part into our game, especially in the build-up play from the midfield. He's nowhere to be seen. And to bring you up to speed, there are two games that we are obviously going to face, and they are really going to be hard for us to do. They are really going to really be hard for us. Bayern Munich against Man United in the midweek, very hard. Then on Sunday, we go away at Anfield. We go away at Anfield, guys. If I talk about Anfield, all what comes back into your head or your mind is one. 7-0. 7-up. That's what happened at Anfield. And if I told you we're going to hate to swallow 3, I would have gone ahead to swallow like 7 against Bournemouth. How is it going to be when you're playing away at Anfield, one of the stadiums with the most hostile atmospheres in world football, that even clubs like Man City, Real Madrid fear to go at? So it's really very, 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 very ugly of Man United. And you are really going to be having nightmares. We are having nightmares of our season. We move 2 steps forward and 5 backwards. That is the ugly bit of Man United. And as it stands, things are really very, 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 very bad. And remember, Bruno Fernandes is out of that game, but for me, it's a blessing in disguise for him to be out of that game because I don't want to see him play. That is it. I don't want to see him play for the club of Man United. That is it. I don't want to see him in that game because look at him today. Look at him today. He has gone back to the default mode. He has gone back to the Bruno Fernandes that we have been all really not wanting. The Hollywood passing Bruno Fernandes. That's what Bruno Fernandes is going to have to do today. He has gone in for uncalled for passes in the 18 box area. Why do you go for inviting passes when no one is going to have to make a run? Keep our ball. Keep our ball, because in games like this, all you have to do is to see to it that you pass that ball, and when you pass it around, you make these players obviously make those movements. You spread it back, you take it to the left wing, you turn it to the right wing in the center of the pitch, and then you wait for those players to obviously forget that you are really going to do something very attractive, and then you go ahead and obviously put in a shift. That is it. So to my understanding, I believe the players costed us the game of football today. The 2 goals we conceded, even the third one, it's courtesy of them not really doing what they're supposed to do. The players in the transition are really looking bad today. Garnacho, very much selfish on the day. Every time he went ahead to obviously get hold of the ball, he wanted to go ahead and shoot. Every time he thought of putting in a cross, that's when he obviously put himself in trouble, So that extra touch or that extra pass missed out. There is a moment, let me see whether I can get it, and I really show you on the screen. For this, I thought we are going to score. Let me show you. Where is it? Let me find it. Here it is. And let me flash it on the screen. And these are moments that decide the game. At this moment, the game was 1-0. The game was 1-0 in favor of Bournemouth. Look, Dalot reached into that position. He's here. Rasmus Højlund makes a very good run, and all what he needed to do was a cutback here into this space. He went in for the near post, and you ask yourself, if at all you decided to shoot, why didn't you go for this area? Why did you go for the near post? Yet the goalkeeper had gone ahead, obviously narrow the angle. That is the ugly part of Man United. These are moments that if at all you really go in for an extra touch, because he had space, he had even chance to obviously go in and take an extra touch, and then he does a cutback. You get? Or even take a little extra touch and loop it over the goalkeeper if you're going to decide to go on and really shoot. But even when you shoot, the shot is not on target. So these are moments that really, really, really stop us, because it was the 66th minute, and if this goal goes in, it's 1-1 for the club of Manchester United. And then the crowd at Old Trafford cheers up to obviously take us into the second gear or third gear to get us going. But all in all, we need to do better. I'm worried. I think for the very first time this season, you are hearing me say this, that I'm worried. I'm worried, guys, about the next 2 fixtures of Man United. We play Bayern Munich, and I think that's when. Is it on Tuesday? Let me check well and see. We play Bayern Munich on Tuesday. That is it. So Sunday, Monday, recovery days. Tuesday, back at Old Trafford to take on Bayern Munich. It's really shocking that we are going to play a team like Bayern Munich when we're going to hit lose to Bournemouth at Old Trafford. It's really very shocking. So I don't see ourselves really getting into a consistent run. That is it. I don't see ourselves getting into a consistent run because we conceded the first goal in the 5th minute and we never leveled, not until Philip Billing went ahead to double the lead of Bournemouth in the 68th minute. That is 63 minutes later, an hour plus 3 minutes later, Billing scores. And you are at Old Trafford and you take an hour not leveling that game. It's very, very unacceptable for the club of Manchester United. And me as a fan, I'm really pissed. And for the very first time, guys, I'm worried. I'm worried for Erik ten Hag's job. For the coming 2 games, it might be an end game for him at Old Trafford, if at all I'm not mistaken. Because if he continues to obviously get losses against Liverpool and against Bayern Munich, for Liverpool, I know it's a loss. I'm not going to come here and obviously sweeten, but for Liverpool, it's going to be a loss. For Liverpool, I see a loss. For Liverpool, I see a loss. You get? You ask yourself, where was the intensity that these players used when you're playing against Chelsea? Where was it? 20 shots by Man United, 10 shots by Bournemouth, but having 20 shots and having 3 on target, you know what that means? it means you were really not composed. A lot of pressure, was impressed on you, and you never had a solution to really take yourself off that pressure. That is it. So 3 shots on target, very ashamed. Yet we had 20, and Bournemouth had 4. Almost half of those total shots they had at goal, half of those were on target, and 3 of those crossed the line. Very clinical. So for Man United, who had 20 shots and lacked composure, had only 3 on target. 69% ball possession by Manchester United, 31% ball possession by Bournemouth. We never made our ball possession count. That is another red flag into our season. Then we had 85% passing accuracy by Man United, 69% passing accuracy by Bournemouth, 7 fouls by Man United, 10 fouls by Bournemouth, 3 yellow cards to Man United, one to Bournemouth, 0 red cards to both sides, 1 offside to Man United, 2 offsides to Bournemouth, 10 corners to Man United, 10 corners, and we never went ahead to utilize any. They are all sluggish, and 4 corners to Bournemouth. And the Premier League table shows it. 27 points by Man United in 16 games. If Newcastle happens to win, and West Ham, we are going to drop 2 points down. So that's the ugly bit of it, and that's what it is going to offer today. So let's go into this is Morris. I believe we are not entering. I think we'll enter 24. I think we'll enter 2024. We'll enter 2024 with Erik ten Hag, because even right now in the market, which manager do you think can come in through and do the job at Man United? There is no manager. What is Onana and McTominay doing in our starting 11? By the way, today, Onana had nothing to do with any of those goals. All those goals were courtesy of our poor defending, and our midfielder, Scott McTominay, downing tools. Alfred Ken, Nibingira, Onana, not worth. But guys, what? I hate it when people come out and say to Onana today, what has Onana done? He hasn't done anything bad. Do you blame him for any goal today? Do you blame him for any goal? I think everyone who is really blaming Onana doesn't know the game of football. Look at where those goals coming from. Tomorrow said Derek, I think Erik ten Hag is under pressure by the media because he's holding on to McTominay. This man likes trials. Why was Martial in the starting 11? For me, Martial coming in the starting 11 is okay. It's okay. But ask yourself, do you think Martial is the one supposed to create for himself chances? It's Bruno Fernandes, Garnacho, and Anthony, and Scott McTominay supposed to feed the striker. But how many times did you see Martial drop deep to get the ball and release these other players? That is really wrong about Man United. These players in the midfield should be the ones getting the ball and passing it to Antoine Martial. He's supposed to be fed in, He's supposed to be fed in. How many times did you see our midfielders feeding in Antoine Martial? That's the huge question. He's the one who always dropped deep, got the ball, and played them in, That's what we should understand. Ask yourself, why is it that Rasmus Højlund hasn't scored a goal in the Premier League? Because he's not getting chances. He's not getting chances. Tell me a chance that you've seen our number 9 today get. A clear-cut one. Antoine Martial for the 56 minutes played for the game for the team of Man United today, no chance. The only shot he directed at goal, it was him who obviously went ahead to really do a trickery and hit at the goalkeeper using his weak left foot. Rasmus Højlund never got a chance. And it was again Rasmus Højlund getting that ball and trying to release these other people. All we need is to see our midfield creating chances. And if we don't do that, we are not going to see this team, see its strikers really scoring goals. That is it. For me, I have no problem with Antoine Martial starting because I told you that Rasmus Højlund is going to play against Bayern Munich. We are having Liverpool over the weekend. So he needed to come in through and get only 30 minutes to go ahead and obviously prepare for the game of Bayern Munich and Liverpool, because for those 2 games, it's him who's going to start. Happy Chris. Let those who have been praising Scott McTominay come out and tell where he was in the field of play. Guys, we are heading to difficult moments. We lacked composure in front of the goal. That is it. And this is where I blame Erik ten Hag a little bit. You see, Bruno Fernandes, time has come for him to stop playing 90 minutes. If you can bench Marcus Rashford, if you can bench Marcus Rashford, you can bench Rafael Varane, you can bench Anthony. Now we should fact check Bruno Fernandes. We should fact check Bruno Fernandes, because what does he offer to us? That is the huge question. Because in that game, I would have gone ahead to take him off and bring on Donny van de Beek or Kobe Mainoo to play into that position, because I know those two can obviously offer better stuff than him. There are things we should run off from. Bruno Fernandes, I've always been a critic about him. He has always gone ahead to play very well, but today you've seen him do what he used to do way back, Hollywood passing. If he goes ahead with the default mode, take him off, get on Donny van de Beek on the field of play. Because Donny will come in through and obviously get those line-breaking passes. You know, he's a player who doesn't lose possession. But if I'm to ask you, how many times did Scott McTominay and Bruno Fernandes lose possession? You know, they lost possession very many times today. To Meba said, Derek, Amrabat is overworking in that midfield. He needs someone to help him. Yeah. And to me, my man of the man is Amrabat. I'm telling you here, my man of the match is Amrabat. That is it. To me, he's Amrabat because of his shift he has gone ahead to put into, and he's being overworked because Scott McTominay was in his own world, you know? And you ask yourself, why should we keep a player like that on the field of play? I understand he has gone ahead to score goals, but Erik ten Hag, the question is, do you think Scott McTominay is the right player to score us goals? The answer is no. I would rather have a Donny van de Beek play alongside Amrabat, and then we create very many chances. That is it. And then we release our number 9s and the forwards. That is it. You saw that incisive pass, intricate pass he obviously played to when he switched play. By the way, he has a very good long-range pass on him. He really released that ball to Anthony, Garnacho, you know, very many times. So Amrabat was really great, but if a player is doing bad like Scott McTominay, get him off, you know, because he's not going to help you create chances. You know, get a player like Donny van de Beek or Kobe Mainoo on the field of play to do the needful. That is it. Maurice David, none of our players deserves to be at United, so we think we need to kick them out. All of them. That's not okay. Let me tell you this. There is a saying in English that iron sharpens iron. Have you known about that? Iron sharpens iron. I think you've gone ahead to learn about it. Now, copper does not sharpen iron. We have good players like Amrabat, Dalot, Luke Shaw, Rasmus Højlund, you know. But ask yourself, how many quality players are around them? Ask yourself, why doesn't Pep Guardiola go in for mediocres? And thirdly, have you ever asked yourself why Pep Guardiola is going to hate to win the trophy close to 3-4 times from Liverpool in the dying times of the season? Do you know why? Because of the quality that Pep Guardiola really has. Sometimes quality and talent, you know, surpass your hard work. Because today, however much we ran a lot and did a lot, all what we need was quality on that field of play. Quality was nowhere to be seen. So it's not getting all those players off. But the manager said, I don't want Harry Maguire here. Though Maguire is going to hit to have a good game today, he's going to hit to make some good blocks. I don't want Scott McTominay here. I don't want Donny van de Beek here. I don't want Anton Martial here. Get them out. Get them out. And get the manager what he wants. That is it. So that's the problem you're having with this team. The manager comes out and really makes a statement, and the board doesn't respect it. And I know that one thing Ten Hag is going to tell Sir Jim Ratcliffe when he takes over, and they're holding a meeting, he'll tell him, please, there are some players I don't want to be here, and they're the ones I'm supposed to be using. I want players who can do what I want us to do and build this better project. Ten Hag tactics are rotting for sure. For me today, I blame Erik ten Hag for one reason: keeping Scott McTominay on that field of play and Bruno Fernandes. Those two, we are the first ones around the 60th minute, before you take off Anton Martial, before you take off Anthony, because trust me, Anton Martial did a better job on that pitch than Scott McTominay and Bruno Fernandes combined. Before you take them off, take off Bruno Fernandes and Scott McTominay. Send a message to them that you are not going to be playing on that field of play if at all you don't put in the performances I want you to be putting on. That is it. So I think that is the only fault that Ten Hag really did, not making Bruno and that guy go off. Bruno, he will not play against Liverpool. And I don't want him to be. Guys, for me, I'm happy. I'm sorry to say this. I'm happy because if you are to play against Liverpool, all you need is to see to it that you have a team that will really take you places and a player that will play in that position and really do exactly what it needs. I pray Donny van Beek gets a go into that midfield. That is it. That's my prayer. I want Donny van de Beek to be playing that position. And you guys will see the difference we talk about, that for a number 10, there are certain specifics you need to get right. Ten Hag and his tactics, I see no way. Banange, no, I think it's the problem of quality. Do you think when you get that team of Man United to Pep Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp, they obviously get us into a vintage state? Do you think? No way, no way. Look at the players they're really having. You know, their players are of good quality. And then Sejay, you predicted before the game Man United gonna win 3-0, but the result gone around. Yeah, by the way, I felt that we are winning today. That is it. I felt that we are winning today. That is it. I knew we are going to win. You know, however much Bournemouth are going to hate to win its 4 consecutive games, I saw us winning. That is it. Dan Champion, good evening, bro. I think every are so good, but only the problem is in the training because they are lazy. It's not about training. These players down tools. For the first goal, if Scott McTominay made that run after losing that ball near the Tina's box area and tracked back, would have gone ahead to have right numbers to defend. You know? Have you seen Hannibal play in that team of Man United? He doesn't down tools. He runs towards the goal line. You know? Remember the game of, I think it was the game of Everton. Was it Everton or Newcastle? One of those two games. Remember that run that Kobe Mainoo really went ahead to make and obviously swept the ball off the line? That's what you're supposed to do if you're in the midfield and you lose the ball. If they attack us, all of us should be focusing to run in the box. You know? All of us should be focusing to run in the box. That is it. But that's not what you're doing. Ten Hag brings his ego to the club and now players are playing. No, it's not about the ego. These are the levels that Arsenal are at. And that's why you see to it that Arsenal is really topping the Premier League table, and for the second consecutive season in a row, they are competing for the trophy. Those are the standards that Pep Guardiola set at Man City. Those are the standards that Jurgen Klopp set at Liverpool. Those are the standards that we should be playing at. And those are the standards that quality managers go up for. So don't think that training is the problem or the players, Ten Hag has an ego. Because you people are not used to strict managers. When Jose Mourinho brought the same staff, the club backed the players. And guess where we are? Don't allow the players to obviously bossy this team. They are not the bosses. The boss is Erik ten Hag. And Erik ten Hag should do exactly what he needs is right. You know? Don't listen to any player coming out and tell you that United is really having a bad manager. That's why everything is not turned around. He's bringing his ego. No way. If you let every player act as he wants, do you think we'll have order in the dressing room? Now, have you seen Marcus Rashford today? When he came on today after being benched for 2 games, he was really running and tracking back. You saw him putting in an effort, meaning that he does it deliberately, knowing that I cannot be dropped. But when Erik ten Hag took action and dropped him, Rashford turned into a player who came on the field of play today and really chased off the pack. You saw him chasing everywhere, you know, tracking back and really going to the news, because he has gotten to know that Ten Hag is willing to give Garnacho 90 minutes and not play you for any second in the game. So is that what you call an ego? For a manager to act well or to act right on players who don't perform? Every player should perform right. For any player who doesn't perform right, he deserves no spot at the team of Man United. David Baker, you need to support a much bigger and better club, Liverpool FC. You'll never walk alone. All right, thank you very much for David Baker. So the standards we're talking about are exactly what Jurgen Klopp set up at Liverpool. And if you cannot really go by those standards, if you cannot meet them, they'll throw you under the bus. That is it. Gomez, Dodo, lazy team. That is it. For me, I have no problem with Eric Ten Hag, by the way. I made this the one or twos, but he's the right one for the job. By the way, he started off this season in a very, very, very bad mode. Players came in late, and he's struggling left, right, and center. So, guys, that was my match preview. That was my match reaction as we went ahead to get scored by Bournemouth at Old Trafford. Your reactions are welcome in the comment section below. Rokan David remains my name. I extend my gratitude to everyone who's been watching in through. See you later when I come in through with the player ratings. Played very well, but no goal. Yeah, but we lacked composure. That is it. We lacked composure. And when we go, that is Visegora. Played very well, but no goal. But we need to obviously increase our composure in front of goal. Our final third performance is really bad. You saw it against Chelsea. 20 plus shots, and we didn't have any more than 5 or more than 3. Even today, you've seen it. 20, but no goal. I'm out.